In this video, I'm going to show you how you can install the MELD graph research tool on your computer. You can access the code and all the guidelines on our GitHub at MELD project MELD graph. And you can also see the full documentation on the Read the Docs accessible here. On our guidelines, you will find information about how you can use this package and the disclaimer about the fact that the algorithm is intended for research purpose only. And you will also find how you can specific guidelines to install the package on different OS systems. So depending on your OS system, there is a different installation available. You can install the MELD graph research tool as a Docker container, as a native installation, or as a Singularity container. So the Docker container is recommended for an easy installation of the research tool, as it contains already all the prerequisite packages that are embedded in the container and therefore requires less manual input and installation. Um, the Docker are working on Linux, and they're also working on Windows, although they has not been tested yet. However, the Dockers are not working on high performance computing system, so HCP. So if you're using one of those systems, you will need to install a Singularity container. However, the Docker container currently doesn't work on Mac OS system that have M1, M2, or M3 chip. So for those users and for the users that want to access and modify the code to be able to train their own classifier, for example, we recommend to do a native installation. So in this tutorial, I will go through the guidelines to install a Docker container on a Linux system. As already mentioned, a Docker container is an encapsulated environment that runs application, and the MELD graph Docker contains packages and software such as Miniconda 3, FreeSurfer version 7.2, FastSurfer, and Torch, and therefore the whole image is approximately 12 gigabytes. This is why you will require over 12 gigabytes of space to be able to install the Docker container. To install the MELD Docker image, you will need to first have Docker installed on your machine. And to check if Docker is already installed on your machine, you can follow this guideline here. So I will show you how to do that. You can open a terminal. So for me, I'm going to click right on my desktop, open a terminal, and I have my terminal here. And I'm just going to do Docker version. And you can see that it displays a version of my Docker. So this means that I already have Docker installed. If you do not have Docker installs, you will need to follow the guidelines for installing Docker on Linux. So you can click here and follow these guidelines that are provided by Docker. Once you have Docker installed on your computer, you can continue the guidelines. This instruction will help you to install the NVIDIA Container Toolkit if you want to run the pipeline with GPUs, if this is something that is available on your computer. However, the GPUs are not essential to run the pipeline, so you do not have to enable that. The next step is to get your FreeSurfer license as instructed here. So the FreeSurfer license is needed to be able to run FreeSurfer and FastSurfer to perform the segmentation on the patients to extract the features. So to get this license, you will need to follow the FreeSurfer guidelines. So I'll show you here. So you will need to get to this website, and you can just follow the guidelines to get a license key. The license key will be a file, so a text file with a license on it, and you will need to to save this file somewhere and keep a note of where you're saving the file so that you can reuse it. I already have this license file and I saved it in this folder here. And what I invite you to do is to keep track of where you're saving everything. So, for example, I have a text file called information tutorial, and I'm going to keep the path of where I saved the license. So I do Control L to get the path above and Control C to copy the path, and then Control V to past the path in the file. And I'm just saving this and keep it here for later. So once you have the FreeSafer license, you can continue the guidelines. And the next step is to configure the Docker. So for that, you will need a couple of files, and we're going to follow this instruction together now. The next step is to configure your Docker. So for that, we are going to first download the MELD graph zip from the latest GitHub release. So you click right, and this will direct you to our MELD graph GitHub. And you can see that the latest release is the version 2.2.0, and you can download either a zip file or a tar file. Because on my Linux, it's better to download this one, so I'm going to download that one. And I will save it in this past mailgraph tutorial. And as mentioned in the guidelines, I'm going to extract it. Extract, complete. And now I have my mailgraph extracted. And I'm going to delete this one because I don't need it anymore. And what I'm going to do again is I'm going to save this path. So I'm going to save the path to the mailgraph Docker. And for that, I am going to copy the path here and save it. Perfect. Then I'm going to continue with the second step, which is to copy the FreeSafer license file into the folder that we just extracted. So for me, my license file is here. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm just going to put it in my mailgraph Docker directly. So now you can see that it's in here. But if you don't remember where you put your license, you can check where you save the path. The next step is to create your mail data folder if it doesn't already exist. And this folder is going to be where you want to store the MRI data and where you want to run the classifier on and get the output. So I'm going to create it here. You can call it how you want, but the important thing is to keep the path once again. So I'm going to again do Control L, Control C, and then Control V to paste the path to my mail data folder here. The last step of the configuration is to edit this compose.yml file. So you will find this file in the mail graph folder here. We can double click on it and you can see it's a text file containing multiple informations. So what we need to do is to edit the line before the two dots on the volumes line. And we need to put our MELD data folder there. So I'm going to take my MELD data folder path and copy it. And I'm going to replace everything that is before the two dots here by the path. And this means that we are mounting this path to the Docker. So once you have changed this, we are just going to save that file, click right, and then we are going to go back here, and we are done with the configuration for now. So what we need to do now is we need to download the MELD graph Docker image and also the MELD data folder, which will require approximately 14 gigabytes of storage space. And to download both of them, you will need to run only one command, which is given here. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. So you will need to go in your main graph folder. So double click on it and then open a terminal. So I'm going to open a new terminal. So you can see that we are in the mail graph folder here. And you just need to copy this line, this whole line. I'm copying it and then pasting it here. And then we click enter. And you can see that right now it is building your mail graph images. So you will just need to wait now. It's going to take a bit of time to download the whole image, which is 12 gigabytes. So you can see that now it is pulling all the layers from the Docker images. The mail graph image Docker is now downloaded, and the pipeline is now downloading the data necessary to run the model into your mail data folder that you provided. So we can see that this is now finished as well. And if you go into your mail data folder, you will see 4 folders. So you now have a mail graph Docker image, and if you want to check, you can do Docker images, and you can see that your MELD project mail graph images is here, and it's like 11 gigabytes. The next step, which is to verify the installation. So for that, you're going to run this line. So we're going to copy the line, and we're going to paste it here as it is. And because the MELD, because the Docker image already exists, it doesn't need to download it again. And now it's just starting to run the test, which might take approximately 15 minutes to run. So we're going to wait a minute. The test is now finished, and we can see that the different tests have run and there is no errors. Here, all the tests have passed. If you had error, this will be red and it will tell you that it failed. And if that's the case, we invite you to continue running these instructions. So you will need to run this new line, which is the same than before, but will save all these outputs into a text file that is called pytesterrors.log, and that you will be able to send us. So I'm going to show you. First, we can see that PyTest is running again, and this time we have a lot of information provided on the terminal. And this information will be saved in the file that the text file that you can send us. While this is running, I'm going to explain you a bit more about the MELD data folder structure. So as mentioned before, there is 4 folders. One folder has input data, and this is where you will store your input T1 and FLAIR MRI scans. And there is another video that will explain in more details how you can prepare your data for running the classifier on. But just wanted to mention that this patient here is a test patient, and it is not meant to be used for running. This is just meant to be an example. So just an example on how you can store the data, but this file is actually empty. So do not attempt to run the classifier on this. Then you have the MEL parameters, which are where different steps of the pipeline are going to call these parameters that are used for example, for combat or for running the normalization. You also have the folder with the model that is stored here. So your model is stored there. And you have the output folder, which contains the free-surfer outputs here. The preprocessed features, like the surface-based feature extracted and preprocessed on this data, on these folders here. You will have also the results of the classifier on that folder. And Then finally, you have the prediction reports that are saved here. And again, for each subject that you will run, you will have a prediction report that will give you the predictions, and that will give you the report here. But here it's empty. So that's a little introduction of the test is now finished, and you will be able to find the PyTest error logs where you run the tests. So I run it in the mail graph folder. So um, I'm going to go there, and you can see that all the terminal outputs are stored in this file, and you can send us this file at our email address, which is given here, meld.study@gmail.com. If you have any installation issue, check our FAQ to see the common problems that users might have. We'll keep this up to date with the users' feedback. And otherwise, you can also contact us and at our email address by providing us information about what OS system you're using, and copying the error logs that you are having on your terminal. You now have your MELD graph Docker ready to be used, and the next step will be to continuing following the instruction here. You will need to prepare your data, and there is an optional step of harmonization if you have data coming from a new scanner and you want to remove the bias induced in your data by this scanner effect. And then you will be able to run the prediction pipeline on the new patients. But this instruction will be given in separate tutorial videos.